দর্শক স্বাগত অ্যানোনটেক্স মতিঝিল থেকে অনুষ্ঠানে আপনাদের সাথে আছে আমি জান্নাতুল নাইম। আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো তথ্য প্রযুক্তির ভবিষ্যৎ নিয়ে এবং কথা বলতে স্টুডিওতে আছেন চিউ চি ভি, ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট অফ এশিয়া ইমার্জিং মার্কেট, ডেল ইএমসি। Mr. Chiu, heartiest welcome to our studio and heartiest welcome to Bangladesh.
Yes.
Mr. Chiu, it was back in 2001 when I bought my first computer and it was from Dell.
Okay.
And to my utter disbelief, I started literally asking myself that is it really from the biggest brand in the IT sector? And it's the same company for which you have been working since 20 years. And you started as a sales manager, if I'm not wrong,
Yes,
and now
right.
you're the vice president of Asia Emerging Market.
Yes.
How was your journey with Dell?
I would say that in the last 20 years has been very, very interesting, right?
Okay.
I started with in-country sales and I moved into regional sales. And the company provided me opportunity to move into marketing for a good 5 years. And then finally, I'm taking over as the Asia Emerging Market. I would say that it was a huge journey for me in the company, that the company allowed me to move from different roles and responsibilities.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I
That
really
was a great
enjoyed it.
journey indeed.
Yeah, it is a great journey. Like just now we were just chit-chatting that you need to enjoy your work.
Okay.
And I enjoy my 20 years of journey in
You have
Dell,
been working in the IT industry since 25 years. So,
Yes.
And how do you what in your perception, how is the technology has been moving? Because once upon a time, IBM was leading the industry, Apple was leading the industry, Dell once led the industry, now Lenovo, Acer, they have been leading the industry. How the technology has been moving?
I think the technology has evolved a lot. In all the research is that technology will grow 10 times in
Okay.
5 years.
In the last 5 years?
Every 5 years.
Oh, okay.
In every 5 years, technology will grow 10 times. So I think I can remember in 1997 when I first joined Dell, I only sell two things. One is a desktop, one is a notebook.
Okay.
That was 20 years ago. But today, as a combined Dell EMC company, we have so much under our portfolio, from desktop to notebook to servers to storage to software to networking to security products. So I think in the getting ready, I think the industry is moving very fast into cloud technology, into smartphone technologies, and all these areas. There's one thing in common, that is you will have to use software and you will have to use storage. So that's where I think Dell Technologies is able to capture this requirement, right? That we're investing heavily into software, and we are the world's largest storage company. So no matter what areas that technology involve, they still need data.
So Dell is coping up with the changes as well?
I think we are coping up as best as we can in terms of the ability and our portfolio. I think we will be coping up much better than the other competition. Yeah.
We have seen in the last decade that Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, the company from Asia, they have lower production cost and they are willing to accept lower profit margins rather than Dell, and they have been leading since then. But Dell was once the leading, as I was saying, the leading technological company and biggest manufacturers of computers. But the position has been changing. And how do you see the change actually?
Okay, sure. So I think I want to break down the question into two parts. One into the enterprise part and the other into PC notebook sections in that sense, right? So Dell continue to lead very much in the enterprise side. That now Dell is the number one servers in the world in terms of manufacturing the servers. Dell is also number one in the storage in the world in terms of storage for huge enterprise, for large banks and the large telecommunication companies. Dell is also number one in virtualization software under our company called VMware. All right, so we are still leading in the technology. It's just that in a different segment in the enterprise segment. On the PC notebook side, Dell is still leading on the commercial PC side. I think what you're mentioning about our competition, they are more on the consumer side or on the aggressive lower price band. I think the company is looking at profitable growth. We will find opportunity to grow in profit. As I was just chatting with the producer, is that even the TV station need to be profitable. so that you can sustain over the long run, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm glad that you detected that some of our competition is on very laser thin margins. as a corporation and with a cost component increasing, it will increase their cost of production. So you can imagine if a company that is $10 billion of revenue and they only make 1 or 2% of margins. After a while, the investors will be thinking, should I just put this money into the bank or invest in other business that will have a 3% return? So I think you are right. Dell is looking into different areas of technology growth, most of it in the enterprise side. However, on the PC notebook side, we want to find our betters to fight in that sense.
Okay. Your company had a merger with EMC, and that was one of the biggest merger in centuries, I should say.
Yeah.
How was the merger? How is it working for your company?
Oh, I think it's a mind-blowing for me, right?
Okay.
In my 20 years in Dell, I've gone through different acquisitions that Dell has gone through, are smaller companies. But this merger just...
it was a big company.
Yeah, just on the magnitude of the size is 67 billion, right? In terms of the revenue size. So you can imagine the merging of two giants together. I find that personally for me, it's very enriching because now I'm taking care of Asia emerging market of the combined Dell EMC portfolio. So that's where I am learning every day on the new company that we merged with, and it has been an exciting time for us in the company.
Mr. Chu, can we talk on that after a short break?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do.
দর্শক, সময় হলো একটা ছোট বিরতির। দেখা হবে কিছুক্ষণ পরে, সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক, বিরতির পর আবারও স্বাগত অ্যানোনটেক্স মতিঝিল থেকে অনুষ্ঠানে। আমাদের সাথে আজকে যোগ দিয়েছিলেন চিউ চিউই, ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট অফ এশিয়া ইমার্জিং মার্কেট, ডেল EMC. Mr. Chu, we were talking about the future of IT industry, and the BD government has declared to make this country digital by 2021, and ever since the IT sector is growing, the government has given enough incentives to trust this sector. The e-commerce sites has been growing, and Dell has e-commerce as well, if I'm not wrong. People are using internet, and historically the people of Bangladesh tend to cope up with new technologies, and we have seen these things. So where do you see the future of IT industry in Bangladesh, and how can Dell be a part of it?
Okay, sure. I think this is two parts to the questions. One is Bangladesh and then the second part is where do you see it? I think from the statistics that I read on Bangladesh is that you have a very big population.
160 million.
160 million, and also a relatively young population in that sense. So I think also on Facebook, I think you're one of the world's largest adoption of Facebook in terms of technology. And users, right, of Facebook. So I think I would like to say that in terms of the IT adoption, I think Bangladesh is way up there. And now looking at the developing countries and the developed countries, there's very little that bridge the difference. In the past 20 years, when you say that a developing country, you would think that they are building roads, that they do not have a proper housing. But today, everywhere I see, you are using a smartphone. Everybody is using a smartphone. I communicate with my country team with WhatsApp. We message each other and put things up on the Facebook. So there's actually very little difference. If you have a strong telco, a strong bank, and a strong government, then the whole IT community will boom big time, right? So that's where I think I'm very confident that for Bangladesh, in terms of the IT transformation, in fact, the developing countries or even Bangladesh will leapfrog even the developed countries. In the sense of usage. Right? For example, as I visit the regions, I see that some countries that open up, they don't even go into the 2G or 3G network. Straight away, they jump into the 4G network straight away. Because they have no legacy to go follow after. As I visit your customers and your telecommunications customer and your banks, I can see that they are very forward-looking to adopt new technology, right? Of e-commerce or apps and all those. So, like I say, it is important that you have a big population. There's no point creating apps. Like, for example, in Singapore, our population is only 5 million. The scale of 5 million or even 2 million using versus a population of 160 million. So you really have the skill of economies of scale to grow your local apps, local areas, right? And also hearing a lot of entrepreneur. There's a lot of entrepreneurial spirits in Bangladesh on that aspect. So with that, how does Dell EMC come into the picture, right? We want to be the enabler of the technology. Because Dell is now providing to the largest banks in the world.
It's the biggest market for you guys as well.
The biggest market will be US, the US, and then followed by Europe, and then for Asia Pac. But the largest customers of Dell EMC are the largest banks in the world, the largest manufacturing companies in the world, right? And the largest government in the world. So we are actually behind a lot of the cloud provider. We are behind a lot of the social media organization, right? We provide the servers, the storage, and the networking for these companies.
So you see a future here in Bangladesh?
Oh, I think, I see a huge future. I also read on your GDP statistics, right? You're going between 6 to 7%,
yeah, 6 to 7 over a decade.
Over a decade?
Yeah.
You compound that. Imagine you compound that. I can't see any country in Asia, it says, that has that
and
growth.
No volatility. Actually, I wanted to ask you, you have come here in Bangladesh for the first time and you have came for a 4-day visit. What is your sole purpose for visiting this country?
Okay, I think sole purpose, I think I have few purposes.
Okay.
I think the first one is to see for myself. I mean, I hear a lot of good things about Bangladesh. I'm here to visit customers. Right, to see that what's the largest telco saying in Bangladesh, what are their plans, to understand how we can help them. Second is to visit banks, to see that, what the banks are thinking in their future plans, right? Also here to visit partners, so that to see that how is the partners looking at growing the market in Bangladesh.
So you're here to building up the relations.
Building a relationship and also size up what is our next steps and what is our investment plan into Bangladesh, right? Because we need to plan ahead.
We'll talk on that, on the investment plans, but after a short break.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
দর্শক, অ্যানালিটিক্স মতিঝিল থেকে অনুষ্ঠানে আরেকটা বিরতি নিতে হচ্ছে, আমাদের সাথেই থাকবেন। দর্শক, বিরতির পর আবারও স্বাগত অ্যানালিটিক্স মতিঝিল থেকে অনুষ্ঠানে। Mr. Chu, we are talking about the investment and the future plan of investment of Dell here in Bangladesh. There is a commonly known accusation that the bureaucratic procedures are a bit complex and the officials are a big procrastinator doing the paperwork and so on. And it is also undeniable that the ports are not up to the mark. But having said that, as we were saying, the GDP growth of Bangladesh is more than 6 and 7+ in the last 2 years, more than 6 over 10 years, over the decade. The government of Bangladesh has been claiming actually that the investment scenario has been changing, the investment opportunity for foreigners in Bangladesh is very good. And the FDI has been increasing. Do you also think the same way, that Bangladesh is a good place for investment, since you did your education in business administration?
I would, if I want to put my bet on any of my countries, I have 26 countries, right, ranging across Asia. I would, my first dollar, I can tell you, is it will be in Bangladesh. Right. So the reason is a few reasons that you mentioned, right? 3 areas that as I go into a country and I assess the country, I look at these 3 areas. 1, population size.
Okay.
If you have a small population size,
you don't have a big market.
There's nothing to talk about. If your population size is 2-3 million, there's no scale, right? Second thing we look at is the government. The stability of the government and
how
all
do you
those
see the stability of our
I think
government?
it has been providing quite a good stability, right, in the last after the last election, right? And then the third one is the workforce, the education of the workforce, the progressiveness of the workforce. So if these 3 add up together, right, not necessarily 100% for each, but if you see a good 70%, 80% of these 3, you will get
you'll think of investment.
Yeah, you'll think of good results in terms of investments, right? You see some countries that have a big population but very backward governments and very backward in education. Then you'll see that maybe the result is not so good, right? So back to your second question is that what kind of investments and areas that we can invest into Bangladesh, right? In the sense that 3 areas that I would like to touch on is that in the next 1 to 2 months, we'll be building up a solution center.
Okay, what will it do?
Okay, the solution center is that we will bring our latest and the greatest hardware, our servers, our storage, and our solutions, and we will install it in our office. So you'll be able to test your applications. We'll be able to test the environment in our office, right? We'll set up a full solution suite.
So
right?
we will give a one-stop solution for everything in
PCB. Yes, correct. So it will be a one-stop from the PCs to the notebooks to the servers to the storage to the networking to the software. All this is available to test in our office. So we are investing quite a hefty sum, right, of money into that to set that up in Bangladesh. That's number one. Number two, so also in the next 1-2 months, we are also setting up services, support services in Bangladesh, right? Meaning that when you call the support hotline, it will be a Dell agent greeting a Bangladeshi worker in that sense, right? That means someone
and
will call
you guys also have a very good reputation of over support servicing, as I've known.
Yes. This will even enhance even more. It will be a Dell coming in as a principal to support our users, customers, right? And at the same time, we will have spares in Bangladesh, right? In putting all the parts so that it will be an advantage to that. And final thing is that I have this policy that when we are in every country, I want to make sure we grow the local talent. That's why our country manager is a
So you intend to pick up the potential. Do you have any plan to put a plant in Bangladesh like Malaysia, like India and China?
Okay. So as of now, we do not have to put a manufacturing plant. We can always assess our situation.
Actually, we are running a bit late. We have a time short.
Okay, sure.
But Dell has a slogan of the power to do more.
Yes, correct.
The slogan has been changing since 1984. It was first get more out of now.
Yeah.
So what Dell intend to do more here in Bangladesh and for the betterment of the IT industry throughout the world?
Yeah, I think first of all, we want to do more on digitizing. All right, to exactly to be in line with your 2021 digitizing Bangladesh. I want to make sure that we do more of that. Number two more for the people of Bangladesh, whether it's investment into talents, providing employment, doing corporate social responsibility. We are here to stay. We are here to stay. That's where you can see us investing into that. Yeah.
We are also hoping forward to that, and it was a great privilege for us to have you here, Mr. Chu.
Thank you
for coming. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah.
দর্শক, অ্যানোটেক্স মতিঝিল থেকে অনুষ্ঠান আজকে এখানেই শেষ করতে হচ্ছে। আগামী দিন দেখা হবে নতুন কোনো অতিথির সাথে, নতুন কোনো বিষয় নিয়ে। ততক্ষণ ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন।